Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Reasonable Sanity Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Token. With us tonight, we're going to have another really good conversation that I'm going to guess will go a little bit into the paranormal realms due to a couple of the guests that we have here. But we might also talk about some rock, because I know I have a couple of musicians on here with me as well. So let me go ahead and just introduce who we have with us tonight. We have Ed Roman. Welcome,
How's
Ed.
it going, everybody?
Good. Ed, in your profile it says here that you're a Canadian indie rocker, so I'm going to guess you know how to play an instrument or two.
Yeah, I'm a bass player by trade, but I guess you might call me a multi-instrumentalist. I think all musicians are.
Yeah, you do it long
at
enough.
Heart, we all play and want to dabble in everything. So
Exactly, yep. And then also, you're also known for your peeping into the paranormal. So,
well, I have, and I guess a big part of that is just due to my experiences, and not only that, family allegory, growing up as a kid, hearing stories from grandparents and my parents and stuff. So as a young kid, I guess I kind of had my antenna up, and certain things that happened to me over the course of my life started to make me realize that there's something bigger to the picture. And I think music, in a weird way, and most musicians can kind of sympathize. There's something sort of transcendental about that sort of connectiveness to the writing experience, the playing experience. I think a lot of artisans are attuned to that kind of stuff. That's why we do what we do.
I agree. Next on the panel is Gaius Van Smith, who is a indie rocker here in the U.S.
I play I'm the keyboardist for the band American International Group. So we're up and coming. We're gonna be going on tour soon, so it's gonna be exciting.
Good. And final person on our panel, Dwight McClanahan. He has a book that he put out where there is a documented 5 separate times that he has been misidentified in a sighting of a Sasquatch. And he's had to actually come forward and prove it was him and not this picture that people were putting out. So, welcome, Dwight. Dwight, are you there?
Dwight's frozen.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh, there he is.
He was lying in wait.
Yes. All right. Well, I know. I mean, Gaius, I'm going to guess everybody knows a little bit about the paranormal, but I personally would like to talk about the paranormal.
Well, I'm a firm believer that this, I'm not a big believer in this type of stuff. I think they can be explained by the government. I know a lot of paranormal people and musicians, especially there's a crossover between musicians and paranormal people and a kind of distrust of the government. I've always been someone that trusts my government, so, that they're not lying to us or anything like that in regards to paranormal activity.
Okay. That brings up an excellent question. Ed, do you believe that maybe like the Roswell type of aliens, where situations like that have happened, but the governments have suppressed it?
Well, I mean, the thing is I think that those things that have occurred, whether they be real or not, the fact that there's so much denial and or let's say passing of the buck starts to sort of point the average mind and the idea that maybe something did occur, and of what percentile is it, I don't know. Even if 3% of the things that have occurred, that's still enough to say that there's something going on.
Okay. Yep. Gaius, do you agree with that?
I just think that it's kind of ridiculous to, not take the government's word for it. I mean, the government, works for the people, and, they're going to just have our best interests at heart. So, I just think that people like your guest here, Roman, I believe, are just kind of dangerous, type of individuals who perpetrate, these very, what I would say, they disseminate, counter information, to try to, spread unrest and insurrection in the country, and just kind of spread doubt. And I think it's, I'd say it's borderline treason, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, my name is Ed.
Yeah.
Ed, like
Yeah.
as in Eddard?
No, as in Edward.
Edward.
But everybody calls me Ed Gaius.
That's your government name?
That's the name that my parents gave me.
Yeah, it's your government name?
That's the name my parents gave me.
Yeah, but is that registered with the government?
No, it's not.
Okay, well, which name is registered with the government that you use for your taxes? I'll call you by that name.
Mom, I don't know. My parents gave me the name Ed, so that's what's most.
So that's your
important
full
to me.
name on your birth certificate?
It just says Ed.
It says Ed? Okay, that's your
that's
government name then. Okay, that's the name that you use to pay
Okay.
taxes. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ed. Thank you.
Capitis Minutia Maxima. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ed, for making that hard to understand. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, guys.
All right, Dwight. I haven't asked you much for questions. What is your personal feeling about the government and paranormal cover-ups that are a lot of people believe in? What's your personal feeling there?
I personally believe both these gentlemen, both Gaius and Edwin here, both have a good point. I think the government has covered up some of the things that as far as aliens or extraterrestrials or paranormal, and they do it for the good of the people. I personally don't think we could handle that. I don't think we'd be able to handle those type of events. I think it would throw reality right out the goddamn door. With pardon my French. Me personally, as a man that was misidentified on 5 separate occasions, and not even in the same area. It was all across the country. It was different times where I'd moved to different cities. Because, of course, I wasn't staying in the same area after I was identified as a Sasquatch. I had to go through so many tests to prove I was not Sasquatch. I mean, it was ridiculous. I'm speaking to them as I'm speaking to you, and they said, this doesn't mean anything. Sasquatch could have evolved. He can learn how to speak the language now.
In your book, you said that they had to do some extensive DNA testing to actually verify that you are a human being, I guess, is what they were looking for.
I gave them my goddamn birth certificate and driver's license.
Okay. Well,
I mean, what proof do you need this is? You think the Sasquatch is walking into the DMV, just like, hey, okay, can Sasquatch have driver's license now?
Out of pure curiosity, where were you misidentified? Were you out in the bush? Were you trailing? Were you camping? Were you?
Good question.
I was camping in Windsor, Ontario. And I don't know if the Canadians just never seen documentaries. Like, I look nothing like Sasquatch. Like, that motherfucker's hairy from head to toe. Like, obviously that's not me. I'm human. And I went up. I went up through Detroit. I was actually camping with a few friends of mine over in Windsor, Ontario. Went across the Ambassador Bridge. Beautiful bridge. Beautiful. But yeah, I was misidentified by the Canadian government at that time. They didn't do the most extensive test that I ever had. The most extensive test would have been when I went down through when I was down in Mobile, Alabama. That was probably when it got the worst. They actually took one of my big toes for testing. The fuck are you laughing about, boy?
They took it. Well, I was expecting not big toe. They took a toe from you to test you?
They took my big toe.
And it wasn't for any other medical reason?
No. It was for DNA testing to see if I matched with Sasquatch. What are they going to test it against? Have they ever caught a Sasquatch, to your knowledge?
Not to mine, no.
I don't think so.
But, then again, government could be hiding it, unless we can trust the government. So I guess your point, Dwight, is that sometimes it's best to let the government handle the situation so people don't know these things and don't misidentify them? Is that kind of where you were going?
I don't know. I had a short attention span from tests they run on me.
Ryan, I think that's what he is saying, that, people, I think what he was saying is that people like Eddard over here, they'll take information out of context and kind of create panic with it, so that it's better to trust the government in certain cases like this and kind of suppress that information. I think that's what his point was.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna switch the topic to music real quick, only because we're starting to carry this government tone still. So, Ed, what is your feeling right now? I assume you live in Canada. So, but you guys definitely hear the U.S. news, and in world in general, there seems to be a lot of politics going on lately. How do you feel about, music and rock artists getting into that, and not even metaphorically kind of the way it used to be? Now they get right into it. They're debating it. They're on TV talking about it. They're performing songs that are just calling it out by name. What's your feeling on that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, well, I mean, that's the artists themselves, and I guess their opinion, and what they want to do as far as speak out or speak up or speak against or speak for. I mean, ultimately, the reason I write a song is because I'm moved by something, whether it be positive or negative. And if it happens to be about current subject matter, then it's going to be. If I don't, like, in other words, I'm not trying to force an idea into the song that's like saying, well, because this is in debate right now, this is why I'm writing the song. I think it's dangerous in some cases to worry about going into that literal territory just because it's current. It's the meat of the matter of the moment. And for me, I'm more about like, well, how good of a song can I actually write? And I'm not trying to like focus on anything other than, what I'm experiencing.
Right.
All right. Good point.
Could I interject here? Because
I figure you may see it a little different than that. So, Gaius, go ahead.
Yeah, what I would like to add on to that is like, a lot of times he was talking about how you can write a song, whether it's good or bad, in terms of current events. And, back during 2007, 2008, our band, we wrote a song actually in support of the, the big banks like Lehman Brothers and Goldman Sachs, who we felt were really getting like a really bad rep in terms of the media and everything that had happened with the whole financial crisis.
Okay.
And, we got a lot of flack from like some other musicians, but, we stuck to our guns about it because really in reality they got a lot of really bad coverage, and it really wasn't all their fault. And in fact, we could even argue in some cases that they were the victims for a lot of what happened in the financial crisis. And it's just you got to take a stand no matter which side you're on, us being on the right side, but still sometimes the majority isn't with you.
So the song that was an homage to the banks that had taken a hit, and some would argue created the hit.
I mean, you could argue that, but I would argue against it. I mean, especially, a bank like Bear Stearns was probably, we called the song actually Bear Stearns, in honor of the financial institution. Okay. And, we did receive a lot of hate because of it, mostly from people probably like Eddard here who, don't really understand, how the world works, who are kind of living, in the 60s still with their hippie, values, stuff like that. But, for the most part, we had a really positive reception from, people in the financial sector, though. They actually put up our poster over in AIG, and that's where we got our name from, American International Group, because of that.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. Great. All right, Dwight. I don't know if you're a musician or not. It didn't really say in your book, but how do you feel? What do you think songwriters have a responsibility to state things even when they go into public opinion can push things around? How do you feel about that?
The only musical experience, I'm not an artist myself, but I used to be a roadie for REO Speedwagon. And so basically I just move musical equipment around, amps and things like that. But I don't think you have the right to criticize the government or anything, make political songs or anything like that, unless the president's black.
Okay, Jesus. All right. Let me do a quick question. This is what I call the quick round. So I just basically layer questions across quickly. Ed?
And if you didn't know what I meant by that, that means Obama.
We understood. Ed?
President 44.
Ed, ghost. Are they real? Yes or no?
Not a clue.
Gaius?
Oh, definitely not. No, I think anyone who thinks otherwise, who doesn't answer no, is probably, kind of stupid, to be quite honest with you.
Dwight?
100% yes.
Okay. All right. Hey, I was going to step away from paranormal. We got to stay in there one more time because this one will be interesting towards Dwight. Sasquatch. Bigfoot, whatever there goes by a handful of names. Ed, real or fake?
Not a clue.
Gaius?
Definitely no. And I just think it's kind of, Ed is just kind of towing the line, jumping on the fence and kind of being a fence sitter. So, it's kind of ruining the purpose of the question. I think next time you got to really stick him down, Ryan, with this one.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Dwight?
Sasquatch, no. Definitely not. Abominable Stone Man, yes.
Okay. Big thing in technology. I love to hit
otherwise known as a Yeti.
Yeah, yes. I love to hit technology questions in here. Artificial intelligence, good for the country, or good for the world, or bad for the world, however you want to view it, country or world? Ed?
Too early to tell.
Gaius?
I think if it's good for business, it's good for the world.
Okay. Dwight?
Fantastic for the bedroom.
That makes sense.
It's true, too. Yeah.
Okay, closing statements. Gaius?
Closing statement would be, don't fear the government. Don't listen to people like this Sasquatch Dwight person who's on the line here, or this Eddard fellow. These types of people, they're just trying to, pull you away from being a good law-abiding citizen. You want to follow a good example like myself and my band, who, we don't break any laws. We, pay our taxes and stuff like that. So you want to stay a good citizen.
Okay, Ed?
Hey, Ryan, I want to thank you for having me on the show.
Well, thank you.
A bit of sanity, and you're a nice host. I appreciate being able to
you.
talk with you and air my opinions.
All right, great. Let's go back to Dwight. Dwight?
How you doing? Listen, I want to come clean, and this will be the first time I do it. I really am a Sasquatch. And I want to know if I could get Ed's address so I go breed with him.
That may be able to be arranged.
All right. Think about it, Edward.
No, sorry, I'm not into bestiality.
I actually do have a question for Eddard before we get off the line. Do you pay your taxes?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you would you be comfortable releasing, your tax documents just to prove it?
Are you an American?
Yeah, I am an American.
You've got no business knowing what a Canadian's taxes are then. So go
No,
fuck
but
yourself.
I just think that since you're on this broadcast
go
here, I think
fuck yourself, you cocksucking corporate son of a bitch. Have yourself a good night, you fucking asshole.
Why are you being so hostile here? I just want to know. I just want to know, how much you're paying and stuff, and if you even are. Because you claim that you pay, but I don't think you do.
Wow.
Holy shit! I did not see that coming.
Fucking Ed pieced out. Fuck.